This is Ohio, and the killing stops here. It stops now. And we're not going to stop until the vote is cast and the killing comes to an end. We're here to stay. Get used to it. We're not going anywhere. I have absolutely no doubt at all in my heart that this bill will become law very soon. Channel 6 just asked me, they said, well, how are you so sure? You've got a great crowd here, and that's really wonderful. And I explained to them that we have shown them that this bill is more supported than any bill in America. And I explained to them that this is a bill that is supported by 8 out of 10 Republicans in the state, 7 out of 10 independents in the state, and a majority of the Democrat voters by a 5-3 margin. 2 out of 3 people, no matter where you go in the state of Ohio, want babies with beating hearts to be protected by law. Just told them the same thing. They told us that it wasn't going to pass the House committee. It did. They told us it wasn't going to come to a vote on the floor of the House of Representatives. It did. And it passed. 54-44 on June 28th last year, we saw the victory that they said could not happen. They said there weren't going to be any hearings in the Senate. There were. Proponent, opponent, interested party. Now all we need is a vote. It's time. There are those who say, oh, we shouldn't try because perhaps we may fail. They lose sight of the fact that by not doing anything, by not trying, is a guaranteed loss of the lives of 26,000 Ohio babies every year. We will not sit by another moment. The killing will stop, and it will stop on our watch. Some of you may remember me as Janet Folger. It was 15 years ago that I was walking these halls, lobbying for such laws as the Woman's Right to Know, informed consent legislation, lobbied for the parental consent, and lobbied for our nation's first ban on partial birth abortion. And there were those naysayers then who said, oh, the courts will challenge it. It could set the movement back. It could reaffirm Roe. Guess what? Every one of those laws was challenged. Every one of those laws was upheld. And it's going to happen again. If we had listened to the naysayers then, partial birth abortion would still be legal today. We are going to set the stage. Ohio is going to make history again. When we passed the nation's first ban on partial birth, 30 states followed us. Congress followed us twice. The Supreme Court had not one but 2 decisions where we found our final victory. And that brutal method of abortion, the first one of its kind, was outlawed by this current Supreme Court. We're going to keep knocking, we're going to keep pressing, and we're not giving up. By the way, I am also acting as MC. If you don't have a rally program, make sure you get one of these things. Because I believe that where you are today, this is a historic moment. This is the rally that I believe is going to lead to the vote that will give us the end of the killing. This is the rally you're going to tell your children and your grandchildren when they come home from school and they ask you, and they say, where were you when they were killing babies? You know what we're going to be able to answer them? We were the ones who brought the killing to an end. Some of you have asked, how in the world, well, you've done a whole lot so far, what else can be done? And God keeps giving more ideas. That's the thing about him. You pray to the Creator, he gives you creativity. Balloons the size of 3-story buildings, and thank you for the team that's just patched the hole in the balloon. We keep moving on. It doesn't matter what they throw in our way. We're going to keep moving on, and we're going to see the victory. Before I introduce the first speaker here, I want to tell you there's a little something that we've done. Many of you know we saw this bill introduced through the majority of the House of Representatives as co-sponsors. Unprecedented. 53 co-sponsors of the 99-member House, a vast majority of the House co-sponsors wanted this bill so much they actually put their name on top of the bill, including the Speaker of the House, Representative Bill Batchelder, Speaker Bill Batchelder. And there were some who said, well, is he even going to bring it to the floor? Not only did he bring it to the floor, he actually put his name on the bill. And I am praying that the same thing happens with Senator Tom Niehaus, the president of the Ohio State Senate. I believe that seal there down the middle of our State House, that with God all things are possible. As I said earlier, for those prayer warriors that were here, it's either true or it's not true, and I'm banking everything I have that the Word of God is true, that God is everything He claims to be, that greater is He that is in us than he that is in the world, that with Christ we can do all things. If you believe that, it's going to change the way you live. Live like you believe it. And we're going to see God do the impossible again. I have seen it. He doesn't perform miracles like parlor trips. They're not for our entertainment. I have seen God part the sea to get us to this place. Cincinnati Enquirer asked me, how in the world, with the opposition you faced, how in the world does a bill like that get this far? And I point again to the motto of our state, with God, all things are possible. So we've done the billboards, we've done the bumper stickers, we've done yard signs, we've done television ads, radio ads, newspaper ads, 5 full-page ads. We've done 5,000 red helium balloons that we delivered when this bill was introduced. When we moved it over to the Senate, we did heart chocolates and heart cookies. We did heart teddy bears. We did 22,000 2,200 red roses last Valentine's Day, which is the number of babies that the Heartbeat bill will save every single month. We have shown that we actually flew an airplane over the State House, and it had passed the Heartbeat. Ohio Senate passed the Heartbeat bill now, just as you see on the balloon behind you. This is the message. We have shown you, Ohio Senate, that more people stand for this bill than probably any other legislation in the country. You've seen the supporter list. It's the who's who of the pro-life movement, including the founder, Dr. Jack Wilkie, who stands solidly and strongly behind the bill, as does Dr. James Dobson, and people like Rick Santorum. You've heard of Governor Rick Perry, and you've heard of people like Newt Gingrich, and the list goes on and on and on. Father Frank Pavone. What we're doing is we're basically telling the Senate that we elected you to do what you promised to do. When you ran for office, you ran as a pro-lifer, not as an abortion regulator.